Said good evening, everyone. It is July 12th at 6 p.m. and I'll call a meeting of the Town Council to order. If we could please take a moment of silence to reflect on all those adversely affected by the many unfavorable situations taking place both here and abroad. Thank you all. In accordance with Mass General Law, tonight's meeting is being audio and video recorded. I would ask if anyone in the audience is recording, if you could please identify yourselves.
I don't see anybody, Mike.
Thank you, Don. Our meeting tonight is being held virtually through a Zoom webinar pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Jeannie, anyone signed up for public comments?
No, there has not.
Okay. Council comments. The only comment I'd like to make before I move over to Ralph, went to the high school this week and the new track has been laid down. It looks great. I guess they're going to be marking the lane shortly, but that project's completed and it looks very good, as I just said. Ralph?
Actually, Mike, I just got a point of interest. At the end of Kibbe Road where it meets Summers Road, I've had a couple residents now in the last week talk to me with regards to seeing if there's anything that can be done. People are cutting the corner and going the opposite way. And I sort of brushed it off. I was like, it happens, until an hour ago when I got very close to being hit head on with someone doing it. So I wasn't sure if Mary could talk to Bruce or the police department. I don't know what can be done or if they've even looked at it. It's getting dangerous. And I think Marilyn also had a similar incident. And again, I don't know if anything can be done. I thought I'd throw it out there. And like I said, the last thing we need is another major accident in town.
Okay, thanks. Marilyn?
Thank you, Mike. I want to add that, yeah, I almost hit a car head on. Fortunately, she zipped around me and nothing happened. The question I raised to the police chief, I sent an email to him and described what happened to us. By the way, it was Kathy's fault because I dropped her off on Kibbe Road and then I had to go to the intersection. So it was her fault. But anyway, I wrote a letter to the police chief and said that when my husband and I revisited the intersection going north on Summers Road, the signage was great. Going south, you don't see the turn, keep right until you're actually on top of the intersection. Now, I think they've twisted it a little bit, so it's better than it was, but it's not really that obvious and it's very dangerous. So I speak for
Okay. Thank you, Marilyn. Mary, do you have a report for us this evening?
Mike, I have one more comment under council comments, if I can.
Please.
So who I just forgot who just spoke about you did, about the track installation and how good it looks. And that was one of our capital expenditures from FY22. I just want to assure everyone as we go forward with the potential for a brand new high school, none of the suggested or potential sightings of the new building will impact the stadium. That will be preserved at every cost. So any funds expended to maintain or upgrade the stadium are well spent, because it's not going to be any piece of the project that would be slated for demolition.
All right. Thanks, Kath. Mary, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, thank you. And Ralph and Marilyn, I will follow up with the safety officer at the police department as well as DPW to check on that signage for that intersection that you're both referenced. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you've had my report now for a couple days. I guess I was loaded up when I started to type that day, but I did want to start off by thanking everybody who Primarily the Rotary Club and the volunteers of town who are members there, who participated in the parade preparation and the carnival work and so forth. It occurred to me how much organizational effort has to go into these events, and to have them go off without a hitch is really kind of remarkable, and they do it every year. Unfortunately, Highland Park wasn't as fortunate as East Long Meadow, and I think we have to bear that in mind each time when we have these public events with thousands of people, that the world we live in presents a danger that is real. And that thought crossed my mind the morning of the parade when I was getting ready to go. I thought, you know, God forbid that anything like that happens in East Long Meadow today. And sure enough, it happened outside of Chicago. So just want to remember all those people in our reflections on these issues of today. On a lighter note, recruitment for our positions that you funded in the 23 budget is ongoing. Obviously, we are still constrained by space, but we are in the process of moving forward with these new positions, and we're very happy to have them. We've also signed the contract to begin the planning and permitting phase of Heritage Park, and the other capital projects are underway. As I attached to my memorandum, there's about 16 or 17 projects currently either out to bid or underway. So we're very, very busy accomplishing the budget goals that were approved in the fiscal 23 budget. I also want to thank very much Representatives Pupolo and Brian Ash. The police chief and I worked together to prepare the document for submission as a home rule petition in terms of the exiting our civil service from civil service law. And they responded immediately and said that they'd cooperate in every way possible. Jeannie helped by getting the 2 votes, one from the town meeting back in, I think it was 1943, in which the town accepted civil service, and your vote in 2022, voting to exit it. So that bill has been filed, and a copy of that is also in your report, just for your reference, and it can be tracked on MassGov. And I will stay in touch with Representative Pupolo's office was the lead on that, but both offices have been very, very helpful in all things that we asked them for. Other police department, the chief did ask me to mention the National Night Out, which is a month or 3 weeks away. And it is an event to honor the dedicated service of all of our police personnel and fire and emergency personnel. So it's primarily a police function. As you know from prior years, a lot of the town departments set up booths there, and Don Mackey's been very helpful organizing that. So it's a nice night out. And again, so hopefully if your schedules allow, you can stop by and say hello to different police officers and department heads and others from their staffs who are present. The Commonwealth's budget is still not passed. The one sticking point that is on my mind anyway is this House bill or House amendment, which would require hybrid meetings going forward. The Senate version accepted the extension of remote meetings through December of 23, December 15th. But the House hasn't adopted that yet. And as I said, they've created an issue where there would be another unfunded mandate because obviously the technology and the staffing necessary to conduct meetings both in person and by remote access would be difficult. So I know the Mass Municipal Organization is still advocating for them to either drop that amendment or provide the funding to see that it can be implemented properly. On the note of trash, I know you've all heard plenty over the months of May and June. We did our services with a new vendor began July 1. So it's only been 11 days, and there were a couple of miscues last week. Fridays, some of the streets on Friday's route didn't get picked up because Casella, operating with human beings, has the same problems we all do, and that is that some of their drivers were sick and called out, and One fellow, I'm told, actually got sick on the job from heat stroke. In any case, as of today, all of the streets on Friday are up to date and we're current in our collection. So we're cautiously optimistic about how that's going to work out, but they're trying and they're communicating with us. And so I think we'll be okay. In that vein, I really wanted to publicly thank actually 12 people that work for the town. There are 4 people in our health department, which is responsible for trash collection, as you know, as well as the DPW superintendent, the deputy, and Daryl Keene, the highway manager, as well as 5 of the laborers from the yard. And these people by name are Tammy Spencer, who is our health director, Elizabeth Bone, who's our recycling coordinator, Alex Roncarati, our health inspector, and as I say in my report, most especially Renee Sukow. She's only been with the town since January, and her desk is right outside my office, actually, and I cannot tell you how patient and calm she is with the incredible number of people who called in to complain about the trash problems over the last 6 to 8 weeks. She's a young woman with tremendous poise, and I never heard her lose her composure once. She was patient and kind to each and every resident. So the health department is very lucky to have her. Additionally, Bruce Fenney, Tom Christensen, and Daryl went out for 3 days and drove trucks around to pick up the trash that Republic wasn't able to get to, as well as 5 other employees of DPW, namely Sergio Freitas, Walter Swan, Robert Johnson, Joe Camiso, and Josh Crochetier. They did enormous good for the town in that last week of June because we were at a breaking point in terms of our trash situation. So I've taken the liberty of rewarding them with some mini stipends for their excess effort, and it won't impact the tax rate at all. We have the ability to, under our contract with Republic, to withhold some funding based on some miscollections, and that's the source of the funding for these monetary compensations that I'm giving to these people. And they all know it because I've already told them individually. I felt it was extremely important to thank them personally for what they did and let them know how appreciated their efforts were to me and to the town as a whole, and certainly to the people with trash in their front yards. And as I say again in the report, lest anybody think that's now they're done for the summer, they're not, because the DPW has the oversight of, as I say, 16 of those projects that are currently underway. They're going 9 ways to Sunday all the time. Bids are out, bids are being opened, work is being supervised. Things slip through the cracks occasionally, but not for lack of effort. And those are the projects that are listed in the attachment, and they are funded with our prior year's capital appropriations, as well as our ARPA money and some community development block funds. In addition, we have now received that $159,000 under a IT community compact grant to establish the fiber network to the town's water buildings. And that work will soon begin as well. We did interview this morning. The Eastern Hampden County Veterans Board met with 2 applicants for a veteran service officer. We've not made a decision yet on how to fill that position. We have several options to consider, and hopefully we'll make a decision in the next week or 10 days. And our current veteran service officer will continue until we have a replacement for her. I say in my report that negotiations on 70 Maple have stalled, and actually after I submitted the report to Jeannie's office, I had 3 phone calls in that regard. So they're not stalled, they're moving forward. And I can report on that when I have some definitive information for you. But right now, offers are being exchanged between the parties. The important thing, one of the important things about 70 Maple is the overlay district that Bailey Mitchell is talking with me and the planning board about establishing for the Rotary area in the with about a quarter to a half-mile radius of the Rotary. There's a design that he has in mind for a mixed-use overlay district to try to improve the appearance and the use of those arteries on Shaker and Maple in particular, and kind of upgrade them. There's a lot of potential for that area of town, and we think development, once COVID costs come down for developers, we think that there'll be some opportunities that we should really think hard about taking advantage of in terms of community development. Bailey has also established a survey. I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to look at it. It's only 12 questions. It's online. And it's an attempt to get some public input about the goals that were established in the master plan. And then he wants to establish the implementation committee by using department heads and other town personnel, which I think is a good idea. Instead of, we won't exclude volunteers, but I think when we have town personnel working on those committees, we can kind of keep better oversight of how we're progressing and what we want to do. We also have a grant. I told you about this a couple months back. It was acquired by Bethany Yao when she was the planning director, but it's a technical business assistance grant from the Western Mass Development Council. It's only $37,500, but it will allow us to work with this vendor who's going to choose 10 businesses in the northwest quadrant of town to assist them in their COVID recovery. And Bailey and I will meet with that vendor hopefully one day next week to determine how they're going to solicit or how they're going to identify which businesses will participate and how they're going to accomplish their goals. And lastly, second to the last, the rec department continues as usual with, thousands of kids signing up for numerous programs and camps. The Pine Knoll is busy. The swim camp this year, as I say in my report, has 195 family pool memberships, the highest number on record. There's a theater camp with they're using the Congregational Church at the Rotary, the theater there for their presentations. And they've also improved and cleaned up the Brown Farm Gardens, thanks in part, at least, to Ralph Page and other community volunteers. Donna Prather has offered to conduct tours if anybody on the council or in the community wants to take a look at what's going on at any of these venues. We're happy to show them off. And just today, I got an email from Aaron Kobler. I did appoint a fellow by the name of Michael Sweeney to the Council on Aging Board. And Aaron indicated that she and Tammy Spencer put together a vaccine clinic last Friday where they gave out $10 gift certificates and ice cream to anybody that went and got a vaccination. So they had quite a turnout and they were happy about that. And the dementia-friendly moniker that East Longmeadow now proudly wears is conducting monthly activities at the senior center to further educate the public on that also very important subject. So that's what I have for you tonight. Thank you.
Mary, thanks for all the additional information. It's certainly helpful to all of us, especially when we're asked by the many residents on the many different subject matters that you covered this evening. So thanks again. Kathy, how about a motion to approve the May 31st, 2020 special meeting open session minutes?
I move to approve the May 31st, 2022 special meeting open session minutes.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any discussion regarding those minutes? I'm hearing and seeing none. We'll roll call vote. I'll start with myself. I'm a yes. Ralph?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And Matt?
Yes.
Ralph, motion to approve the June 14th open session minutes?
I motion to approve the June 14th, 2022 open session minutes.
I second.
Thank you, Ralph and Anna. Discussion? Roll call again with myself. I'm yes. Ralph?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and Kathy.
Yes.
And Connor, a motion to approve June 14th executive session minutes.
Sure. I move to approve the June 14th, 2022 executive session minutes.
I'll second that.
Any discussion regarding the executive session minutes? Okay, we'll start with Connor,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Thank you all. Moving down the list, we have nothing under communications and correspondence this evening. We also have no public hearings. Under orders of the day, I would ask Matt for a motion to approve a one-day liquor license for St. Paul's.
I motion to approve a one-day liquor license for St. Paul the Apostle Church for a parish hall blessing and grand opening on July 24th, 2022 from 12:30 to 10 p.m.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'm sure Jeannie covered and dotted all the i's and crossed the t's. So I'm a yes. Ralph,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes.
Anna, motion to approve a budgetary transfer totaling, what do we have here? Let me read this. Is it 7,124.38?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm reading the right number. So Anna, if you could help us with that, it would be great.
Sure. I move to approve budgetary transfers totaling $7,124.38 from salary to non-salary accounts to cover deficits as presented.
I second the motion.
Thank you both. Discussion? Anna,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and Kathy.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing under old business, but under new business. Marilyn, how about a motion that the town council affirm the council rules?
Sure, Mike. I move that the town council review and affirm all council rules and each council member affirm and submit an attesting signature to the clerk of the council per Rule 15 of the council rules.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor, and I'd like to defer to Jeannie. I met with Jeannie today. She did an excellent job of what she put together for all of us, but I'm going to pass it to her once she comes out of mute and let her give you the description on where we go from here.
Sorry. So part of the new Rule 15 for council conduct was asked that the council during its organizational meeting at the start of each fiscal year, which is tonight, to review and affirm all council rules and then submit an attestation, attesting signature to me. So the last page of your supporting document behind the council rules is that affirmation. And I would suggest that after whatever discussion you have tonight, that you submit to me an original page with the original signature on that for the file. If that's agreeable to everybody, it's a suggestion from me, so. So no.
I thought it was a great suggestion. I looked at the document today. It's very clear everybody would have a copy. And so I'm in favor of this. Ralph?
So I'm in favor of it, but I do have a question with regards to the rules and regulations. It says basically the council president is going to be the ex officio of all subcommittees, but it doesn't say whether the council president is a voting ex officio or a non-voting. And I think we should put in there whether they are or aren't, because I did some research. I actually, under Merriam-Webster, I looked it up and all, and ex officio can either be a voting or a non-voting. So I just figured I would open that up for discussion, whether or not we think the president should vote on the subcommittees.
Okay, Kathy?
Thank you, Mike and Ralph, I'm glad you brought that up. My recommendation or my opinion is the council president as ex officio should be a non-voting member, because some of these subcommittees by description end up having 3 counselors on it. And if the the sitting president happens to sit in, which he or she has every right to do, but also at the same time is not obligated to do so. But should he or she sit in and they were a voting member, then that constitutes 4 votes and we would be in full-blown violation of OML. So I would recommend that we're a small body of 7. If you look at the Springfield City Council, there's 13. That would never become an issue. But given how small we are, that I just think ex officio is sufficient that the sitting president can sit in to get up to date or give an opinion, but should not be voting.
Okay, that makes total sense to myself. I believe everyone understands, but raise your hand and signify if we need any more clarification on the subject matter.
So
Ralph?
Mike, I would think we would need a vote on this to use the
Yes.
rules and
Mhm.
regulations. So if you want, I would make a motion that we amend the rules and regulations stipulating that the president as an ex officio member of a subcommittee is a non-voting member.
Second.
So moved. Sorry, Marilyn.
It's okay.
I think between the two of them, we've got a motion and a second, so.
You got to vote too.
Right.
Third.
Okay, so is there any discussion regarding that motion and the second that's on the floor? And I'm not seeing any, so I am a yes. Ralph,
Yes,
Anna,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and Matthew.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you, we had a motion on the floor before we opened the discussion, and that was to review and affirm all council rules by each council member. And that's pertaining to the document that Jeannie has prepared. Is there any other discussion on that motion? Because I believe we should vote on that motion as well. And I'm hearing and seeing none. I'm a yes. Ralph,
yes,
Anna,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and Kathy.
Yes.
Okay, great. I guess, Jeannie, we can stop in. I think the document's already been created, and probably stop in at their leisure, or just make sure you're there, or maybe Jackie could have them on file if you're not, so everybody could pick them up and get them back to you in a timely fashion.
I just have a comment, Mike. As you can see by the amended dates on the cover page of the council rules, it's sort of random dates. Now
Mhm.
that we have in the council rules that we're going to review every year, hopefully the amended dates will be a July date. You know what I mean? So we're not doing this randomly throughout the year. We're doing it once a year. So if you can make sure that after you vote on this one, make sure that that's the only one. And I'm assuming everybody reviewed this prior to the meeting, so.
Mhm. Okay, sounds good. Everybody comfortable with that? We're ready to move on? Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to move into executive session to conduct a strategy session in preparation for contract negotiations for non-union personnel, being the town manager position for, excuse me, Ron.
Michael, Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you skipped over the financial report.
No,
Did you?
we voted that time.
We
Already
did it,
We voted it.
right,
Okay,
but excuse me, I think Steve might have had something to add that was skipped over, but did you vote on the amended motion?
We voted on it
On Ralph's motion, it was seconded. Did you guys do the roll call vote on that?
to cover the,
Unless I missed it.
hold on, let me just take a look. The motion was made by Anna and seconded by Ralph.
I mean Ralph's motion to amend it.
did
Regarding
we
the
actually vote on that? I thought we did.
You did the
I
roll
think
call
so.
vote on that?
Did you,
Okay.
Marilyn?
I'm
You
looking
can
at
do it again.
Jackie. Did we, Jackie?
You made the motion, Kathy seconded it.
And I did, well,
Did
right.
you do the roll call vote?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don, thanks for the safety net.
No, I
All I can,
apologize.
all I can say is while we're here, before we leave open and move into executive, I don't believe anyone had any questions for Steve, but Steve, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just like to, a couple things. One, that our preliminary turn back number for excess budget to expenditures, to another shout out to our department heads for watching their budgets so tightly, is going to be around 1.7 million, which is much better, frankly, than I thought it would be this year. And then lastly, the news, Terry in my office, who's the payroll administrator here for town, she's retiring at the end of the month. And I just wanted to give her a shout out because in the 2 years I've been here, she's been invaluable. She makes sure we get paid, which makes her the most popular person every 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
anyways. But she works very, very hard, and she made, she makes sure that our deductions, everything are up to speed. And so I want to wish her a long and happy retirement.
Thanks, Steve.
Congratulations.
We all appreciate what you and your staff do, and we wish you the best going forward. So I'm going to continue along with a motion to move into executive session to conduct a strategy session in preparations for contract negotiations for non-union personnel, being town manager position for Ron Sanangelo, and then we'll return to open session.
I will second that.
Thanks, Kathy. Motion in a second. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, we'll roll call vote to move into executive. I'm a yes. Ralph?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
And Matt?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Don. Welcome back, everybody. We're back in open session here at, I'm showing 8:01. And I will entertain a motion regarding the direction with the appointing of our next town manager.
Mike, I move that the town council terminate contract negotiations for the town manager position with Ron Sanangelo.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion regarding the motion? I'm hearing and seeing none. We'll start the roll call vote with Ralph,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Marilyn.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Kathy,
Yes.
Matthew,
Yes.
and Anna.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Our next agenda item pertains to Article 2, Section 3 of the Charter. And as you all know, annually, we go through our reorganization process. And the only piece I want to add is that every 2 years, we have also council rules and under our council rules, which defines term lengths. So there will be a change for anybody that's sat in the capacity of president or vice president after a 2-year run. Next year when we do this, because both members will be for their first prior year, it doesn't mean that they can't repeat in that capacity. That being said, I'd like to ask for a nomination for somebody to be our next president. Marilyn?
I would like to nominate Ralph Page to be president of the town council.
Thank you, Marilyn. Any other nominations for president? All right, so we'll roll call vote. Ralph, you've been nominated, as you know. I'll start the roll call vote with myself. I'm a yes. Marilyn?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
I don't believe I missed anyone, right, Ralph?
Yes.
Except yourself.
So Mike, I'd just like to take a moment to thank everyone. I look forward to the upcoming year. I have been chairman before on other boards, and my phone is always open. Anytime anyone wants to talk or needs anything, just give me a call, send me a text, and I will get right back to you.
All right, while you're on the floor, I just want to thank you for all your help over the past couple of years. One of those years you served as our vice president, and you were very supportive and certainly helped with a lot of the heavy lifting. And I want to extend that to the other members of the council, that being president and doing this job is a teamwork operation, and we all serve this council with different diversity. And I think we have a great team here, and look forward to working with everybody going forward. That being said, I'll entertain a nomination for vice president.
I would like to nominate Marilyn Richards as council vice president.
All
I'll
right.
second the nomination if necessary.
All right, that's great. So we have Marilyn nominated. Are there any other nominations for vice president? And I'm not seeing any, but, and before we continue, not to delay the vote, but Connor, I did see your hand up.
Oh, I was just gonna say what Kathy said.
He was
Okay.
going to nominate Marilyn. Perfect.
He's like, get 2 votes.
All right, so you got 2 votes. So we'll start the roll call vote right up in the corner of my screen. Ralph?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Connor?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
All right. Marilyn, I know you can vote for yourself if you'd like, but congratulations to both of you. I look forward to working with you, and we'll continue marching here. Marilyn?
If I may, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to serve this council. I truly never thought that I would be doing this. I thought I was done a while ago. I appreciate, I accept it as a vote of confidence. I'll work hard whether I'm the vice president or not. And so thank you very much. I look forward to working with Ralph. We talk a lot on the phone anyway. And so it'll only make it all legitimate. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all. The last, Kathy?
I would like to say thank you to Mike for the last 2 years of his leadership. Until you've been the president of a body like this, I had the pleasure to be that president for 2 years preceding Mike's tenure. You don't have an appreciation for just how much, or you appreciate it very quickly for just how much work it entails behind the scenes. It is the least, it couldn't be further from the notion that the council meets Tuesday to Tuesday to Tuesday. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. And Mike is the gold standard for keeping that all together. So I'd like to thank him personally for all of the conversations and the camaraderie that he's brought forward to this council over the past 2 years.
And I thank you very much. I couldn't have done the job that I did without the help of the council or the cooperation of working with a class act town manager, Mary. So it's
That goes
really,
without saying.
it's really been a pleasure. So that being said, that really finishes everything up on the agenda as far as I can see, except for our adjournment. So
Mr. Chair, before Mr. Chair on the way out, can you just remind everyone what our August meeting date is? Or Jeannie,
absolutely.
maybe I should ask it of you.
We're looking at, the second night in August, which is a second Tuesday in August, which is the 9th, which precedes August 2nd, which is the night out that we spoke about earlier. So we're scheduled for August 9th, if that works with our president and clerk. Ralph?
So at this time, I would say yes. I mean, my thoughts, unless we choose to meet earlier, based on information as far as going forwards with town manager search and stuff like that. If something comes up and we need to, we definitely will.
Okay, so we'll leave it as our next scheduled meeting to comply with the charter regulation would be August 9th. And So if that helps everyone, at least it helps plan with their vacationing or any other
Mhm.
obligations, family obligations that one might have. So other than that, I believe we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
And I can do that. I move to adjourn.
And a second? Yeah. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'm
Mike,
hearing again.
Thank you again, Mike, for everything you've done. 2 years at the seat is
It's
unbelievable.
a lot of work. A lot of work.
Phenomenal job. We greatly appreciate it.
All right, well, I appreciated your support and your comments this evening. And so thank you all. And we are adjourning at 8:09 with a roll
We have-
call vote. And I'll start right at the top with Ralph.
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Good night, everyone. And thank you, Mary.
Thank you,
very
everyone.
much.
Okay, have a great night.
Good evening.
Thank you, Don.